Hi, I'm here with Tony Strelkov. This man has helped me greatly in the healing and integration of my soul. I have been doing some sessions these last months, and that's why I decided to do the formation in Past Lives Regression therapy. And I am inviting him to chat and to have some insights on what this is about and how through this service, these 10 years, he has been helping hundreds of people through very difficult situations, as my cases and my stories that I will share in a moment.
Well,
thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Santiago. Thank you for inviting me to this moment. Yes, it's the most wonderful experience that I have had. I never imagined it was possible for a person that's not dedicated. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, and I said, can a person that is not formed in these professions become a therapist of past lives? And oh yes, you can. And many people have told me, experienced therapists, in a way it's better if you don't come with preconceived ideas.
Yes.
So today I can tell you the real reason that you become a therapist is because you want to heal deeply, you want to know about the spiritual world, and you want to help others. But you want to help others not because, oh, I'm the therapist, but because you love and feel compassion. Yes. If you have love and compassion, you can be a therapist.
And you develop that in yourself first. That's yes. The focus of the formation, right?
Formation is completely dedicated to learn about yourself. We form small groups, and in these small groups, it's like a very, you know, what we call in Spanish, autoayuda, when you have those,
self-help, yeah.
like Alcoholics Anonymous or something. It's a group that really contains, as you are learning, because we open up our soul. It's like if you really remember the moments that have really conditioned and hurt you deeply. Sometimes it's in your childhood, it can have happened in your mother's womb, and usually we find that it comes from past lives. It has been potentiated, made stronger in this life, but we bring it from behind. Mm-hmm. The incredible thing, as you have seen, Santiago, is that we have the capacity to remember. You think that it's, oh, how will I remember past life?
You live it in the first person. When you're in there, you live it in the first person.
Exactly. It's spectacular.
I will share this session we had with Tony. This was the situation that was subconscious. Sometimes we do not know from where it's coming, the behavior that we are representing and people are acting towards that. And it's very subconscious because it's a pattern of the soul. So this was very crazy in my family dynamics. I realized that it was harder to get closer to my son. And I always had a rejection, a bouncing back, and it was hurting myself a lot. And when we did the session with Tony, I realized that I was fighting with a bear. And then I could take out, like in first person, go outside of myself, have this act of awareness and see myself that I was a bear too, and I could not get closer to my calf, to my son today. And it was protected by the mother. And this pattern was being replicated in my life. And it affected me when I was in that scene and I was attacked in the lower back and I had a disc hernia. It was one of the most excruciating pains for days that I could not walk, paralyzed. And it came just from that experience. And yes. We took out the arrow from there, from the hunters, and I recuperated my health, and the lumbar pain went away and never came back. And also I could be more compassionate with the mother of my child because I understood it was not a conscious act. It was something subconscious of past life making her act that way. So thank you again, because that session was very healing for me. And there's many more stories.
Yes.
You have hundreds of stories of like that. Would you like us to share what's about? What do we get from a session? What's the possibilities of healing and value we get?
Well, basically, I consider that we have to understand that we are in the present moment, in every moment that has passed in our soul. What does this mean? That when today I'm suddenly I start shaking because I heard an explosion. It's because my soul is still in this First World War in one of those trenches and the bombs are falling. That body died, but my soul, my spirit stayed trapped in the moment of that death. So when I understand this principle, that for my soul, everything is happening simultaneously in the present moment, obviously, if today I'm becoming sick because of a memory from a past life, if I can go to this past life, reprogram my unconscious mind and bring the energy that has been trapped in that past life, healing becomes natural. It's not that we are healing the person, we are just taking out the obstacles. If you're in a medical treatment and you need to continue it, you continue it. But suddenly the results will be much better.
Yeah, like this case that you told me, there was this guy with lung pulmonary fibrosis.
Yes.
And he was like, okay, start saying goodbye to all the people. And suddenly he came to a session.
Yes, he arrived. Yes, they told me that your life is almost over, my life is almost over, but well, my sister told me maybe try this. When he finished the session, he was sitting like this, he was talking, and I said to him, you know, when you go to the doctor, they'll tell you that you had a mistaken diagnosis. And that's exactly what he stayed. I think he stayed believing that he never had this sickness, that it was a mistaken diagnosis. The story is very funny if you think I tell it to you.
Yeah, please.
He says, we're a group of Scotsmen going to battle. We're very happy, about 100 of us with swords, I'm leading the group. And in front there's an English cavalry about to attack. We are very confident, but they come on top of us, and with the horse they throw me down, and they don't kill me, they just put the foot of the horse on my chest and they say, go and tell your people what happens when you defy the strength of the English crown. So 99 were dead and he stayed alive, but
crashed the lungs with the...
And this feeling of being dominated, I don't know, something must have happened in his life. Maybe he fought with his wife, maybe he had a problem in his job, but something made him remember this feeling. The trigger was... So suddenly, from one week to the next, he was on the verge of death. He remembered the moment and the energy returned. He was free. This was one of the... As it happened when I was a beginner, it was one of the most impressive sessions for me at that moment. I mean, you know, now I felt...
And now you have
so
cases
that,
like near-death experience that happened with a friend that you were telling me before recording about a case of breast cancer that had to do with the spiritual dynamics, because in the formation we learn a lot about the spiritual dynamics or certain patterns that can be causing that disease or illness. How was this story?
Well, for example, it's a very common thing that when a mother dies with a certain type of cancer, if the daughter goes through the same kind of experience, sort of. The mother got sick because her husband started being unfaithful to her and is abandoning the family, and all this suffering produces the breast cancer. This mother died, the daughter develops the same cancer. Well, in this session, the mother presented herself from the spiritual world saying, I'm taking my daughter away. Now you say, oh, how bad this...
She wanted to take her with care.
She wants to rescue, because from the spiritual world, you don't see life in earth is a wonderful thing. You say, oh, I don't want my daughter to continue suffering, let her come with me. But of course we had to intervene quickly to stop this action from this. It's like
pulling to the dead realm. So that can happen, right?
So well, you cut off the pulling, you produce a change of feeling. Okay, so my husband has been unfaithful to me. Okay, let him go, or let's change the attitude to life, and that's all. And after that, healing becomes natural. I don't say, okay, stop your chemotherapy. No, continue, do your therapy. But you'll see that the results will suddenly be wonderful.
Yeah, the soul and the energy is helping you for that healing, because I think we are getting into a harmony, and all health comes from that harmonious state.